A baseball team has 2 colors of hats, 3 colors of jerseys, 2 colors of pants, and 2 colors of shoes to pick from. How many different possible combinations of the hats, jerseys, pants, and shoes are there? As you can see, I've got some wonderful drawings here of the different colors of hats, jerseys, etc. Now let's look at them and consider how we can figure out the number of combinations. So let's just look at hats first. We see here that there's 2 hats to choose from. In other words, n equals 2. But for our person here, who's going to be wearing 1 hat, we only need to choose one of those hats. In other words, r is equal to 1. We've got our hat. If we move down and look at the jerseys next, we can see that there's 3 options for our person to choose from. In other words, n equals 3. But obviously, our person's only going to wear 1 jersey. In other words, r equals 1. You can probably see what's going on here now. Our person has 2 options of pants, n equals 2, but they'll only wear 1 of them, r equals 1. Again, 2 options for shoes, n equals 2, but we're only picking 1, r equals 1. Now, you might remember the fundamental counting principle. If we're looking at combining a bunch of options, and sometimes you'll see the word and in a sentence, that means that we need to multiply the different combinations together. So if we're looking at our number of hats, to choose 1, but we're also looking at the combinations of jerseys in there as well, we have to multiply these together. So 2 choose 1 for the hats, multiplied by 3 choose 1 for the jerseys, multiplied by 2 choose 1 for the pants, and then multiplied by 2 choose 1 for the shoes. We can go ahead and plug all of those into our combinations formula. So we'll have 2 factorial divided by 1 factorial multiplied by 2 minus 1, which is just 1 factorial, multiplied by 3 factorial divided by 1 factorial multiplied by 3 minus 1 factorial, which ends up being 2 factorial. And then these last 2 here are the same as our first one, so 2 factorial over 1 factorial over 1 factorial. And again, 2 factorial over 1 factorial over 1 factorial. Now, this simplifies to essentially just being 2 times 3 times 2 times 2, which ends up giving us 24 different combinations for our 4 options. Now, there is a simpler way to do this really quickly if you want to stick around. We could approach this problem using our combination formula like we did up here. But you can also approach this problem from a more simple perspective, just by thinking about it from the fundamental counting principle. We have some options we have to choose from, and we're simply choosing one of each of them. So we could just say, hey, we've got 2 options here for hats, 3 for jerseys, 2 for pants, 2 for shoes. We're just going to multiply all of those numbers together. 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. And that gives us the number of combinations we can make with those different objects, which again is equal to 24.